Today we're diving into buyouts. Money a federal agency will give you to pack up your belongings and to head out the door. It's happened in the past, it's happening right now, and with President Trump back in office, it could be increasing. So let's look at the first agency that's been doing it, and that's the USPS with its latest early retirement buyout offer. A move that can change the game for thousands of employees. Let's break it all down. So what's the deal? The United States Postal Service is offering voluntary early retirement incentives to eligible employees in overstaffed facilities. It's offering up to $15,000 in lump sum payments for those who retire by April 30th. Now that might seem pretty tempting to a lot of people, but what does this mean for the employees, USPS, and the other federal agencies? The deal is, if you're a full-time USPS employee eligible for this program, you'll receive $10,000 on August 15th and the remaining $5,000 on August 28th. Part-time employees can also take advantage of this, but they're going to be prorated for their time. And if they ever apply to a career service position, they're going to have to repay this incentive. The USPS has been on a mission to restructure its workforce. Under Postmaster General DeJoy, the agency has cut about 20,000 employees and 45 million work hours since 2020. But they have also converted close to 200,000 pre-career positions into career positions. And this is huge because most people, when they're applying to the USPS, they want those career positions. Those are the positions that have the benefits, that have FERS, they have the pension. If you go into one of the pre-career positions, you do not have the same level of benefits. So the incentive just isn't there for you to take the job and actually hold on to the job. It's more like a revolving door. There was a story not too long ago where there was 100,000 positions posted over a period of time and nobody applied to them. So why is USPS offering these buyouts? Two main reasons. One we just touched on, overstaffing in facilities. That leads us to the second reason. Why are they overstaffed? Technology has been evolving. Mail processing has been evolving. They do not need as many hands because of the automation, which makes a lot of people afraid, and it has for over 100 years. Technology, automation, results in reduced jobs. And it's even worse as you look at artificial intelligence, advanced AI. It makes a lot of people nervous. But if you look back into the 1800s, pretty much the same thing was happening when it comes to getting oil out of the earth and putting it on a train. Union workers would roll barrels down the field of oil to put it on the train. They came through, not the union workers, the actual CEO and the executives, they installed pipes so they could suck it out of the ground and then they could streamline the whole process and get the oil on the train quicker. Well, at night, as soon as the sun disappeared, the union workers would come on the field and they would destroy the pipes because they thought the pipes were taking their jobs. And from their perspective, they were right in that moment. Now, obviously, new jobs were created as the technology improved. But there's a bigger picture here. USPS, they reported a $9.5 billion net loss in fiscal year 2024. Reducing labor costs is part of their strategy to stay afloat. Now, this isn't USPS's first rodeo when it comes to offering buyouts. In 2013, they offered $15,000 to employees in similar roles. And in 2021, they extended early retirement to non-union employees. But under the Trump administration, buyouts became more frequent across federal agencies thanks to budget cuts and workforce reductions. With Trump back in office, these same strategies, they could reemerge. Let's look at some other examples. 2018, the Environmental Protection Agency offered buyouts to over 1,000 employees. Now the EPA, they were offering even more money than the USPS. The max amount they were offering back then was $25,000, and 400 people, they took the money and they left. Now, there are people right now that are thinking about leaving the federal government. So all you have to do is offer a buyout, $10, $15, $20, $25,000. They will take it. I talked to many people that are currently in the government that are waiting for the opportunity. They're going to leave anyway. So their 12 to 24 month plan, they're going to jump into the private sector. They're going to start their business. They're going to do something completely different. But to sweeten the deal, if they are approached with a buyout, they will definitely take it. We've also seen the Department of Education not too long ago. They rolled out a voluntary separation package to trim its workforce. they were also paying $25,000, and several hundred employees took them up on that offer and they left. Now, when this happens, it's good for the employee. They're getting what they want and they're moving on to a different career opportunity. But for the agency, what you have to understand is there's institutional knowledge within that agency. And when individuals pick up and leave, and there's not a proper process to document the knowledge that they have, every individual that's in an agency that's been there for multiple years, they know things that's not written down. It's not in SOPs. It's not in policy letters. And it's considered brain drain, if you're familiar with that term. You're losing the institutional knowledge. It's a huge risk. So early retirement falls under VERA, Voluntary Early Retirement Authority. This could be a great and wonderful thing for people that are financially prepared for retirement. If you have at least 6 months of savings, if you have a good investment, maybe your TSP is mature and you're ready to jump into retirement. Because if you're not mature when it comes to your finances, it's probably not going to be a good deal for you. Let's check out the requirements. You have to be at least 50 years old with 20 years of service, or any age with 25 years of service. There are other requirements, but that's essentially the basics. And when you're looking at early retirement, that's something separate than buyouts. So you can still receive a buyout to leave the agency without entering into early retirement. So if you're a USPS employee or know someone who is, here's what to consider. First, you need to crunch the numbers. Does $15,000 even make sense? Right now, in this country, most Americans, they spend between $5,000 and $6,000 a month just on regular everyday things. $5,000 to $6,000 a month. And that number can scale dramatically if you have a family, if you're responsible for multiple people. But if it's just, let's say, you and maybe one dependent, $5,000 to $6,000 a month, that might be able to cut it. How long can you survive with $15,000? You're looking at maybe 3 months, give or take 2 weeks. So is that going to be enough of a cushion for you to find your next position? And your next position, will it have health care? Will you have health benefits? Are you going to be able to make a medical appointment? What is your health condition right now? Another thing to consider is retirement. In the federal government, you contribute to FERS. Every month of additional federal service that you do, you increase your pension amount. So let's say you're at 20 years in the government, you're a GS-12, right? So your pension could be roughly around $26,000 a year. Every additional month past the 20-year mark would be like an additional $120, somewhere around there, between $100 and $150 extra. So you do 2 months and you're increasing your overall pension by $200 every year. The money that you receive from your federal pension, that is for life, as long as your heart keeps beating. So you have to ask yourself, what number do you want to hit for your pension? Now, other people, they depend largely on their TSP, their thrift savings plan. They're able to grow that to multiple hundreds of thousands, maybe 500,000, maybe even up to $1 million. There's over 1,000 employees that have over a $1 million balance with their TSP. And then there's a strategy where you take out, let's say 5% or even less than that, and you're able to live on a small percentage. And you can just depend upon your TSP, never even touch your pension. Your pension could just be going to your savings account and growing and growing and growing. For those outside of the USPS, this is a wake-up call to understand that buyouts could be approaching depending on what agency and what office that you work in. Now, can you predict what agencies are coming? Will this agency offer a buyout? What about that one? You can look at past history, and almost all of the big agencies at some point in time, they have offered buyouts. This includes the VA, DOD, DOJ, the USDA, the list goes on and on. So if you're offered a buyout, then your point of contact should be HR. Now, your supervisor is going to be in the loop at some point in time, but your primary contact should be that HR specialist. And in case you were wondering, the maximum they can offer you for a buyout is $40,000. This amount is set by OMB, and it can always change. In the end, buyouts are more than just a number on a page. It's about making the government smaller. It's about reducing jobs. So you need to ask yourself, what are you going to do if you're given the opportunity? Are you taking the buyout? If you are still interested in federal government jobs, you need to know the whole process. From when you create a usajobs.gov account, you start applying to those jobs, you go on interviews and accept the job offer. If you want to know more about that, I want you to watch this video next. If you need a federal resume example, check out the links down below. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.